there are a lot of people from
Chair
many,
Michael, I think
many
you
countries
actually
that came
misheard
here
what she.
illegally.
I think you misheard what she said.
No, he purposely misheard it.
She said.
I purposely
Yes, he
misheard
did.
it. So now you're in my
Chair
brain?
Michael, listen to me for just a second.
Is that where we're going?
You
Chair
think
Michael,
I would
listen to me
say,
for a
I
second.
who have advocated
Anna,
for black
please
people
stop.
my entire life would
Anna,
say something like that?
Anna,
Give me a
Because
damn
you've
break.
advocated for black
Anna,
people,
please
great.
stop.
Congratulations. Last time I checked, I'm black. You're not. Okay.
What's happening, everybody? I've got a really good one for you today, but my thumbnail buried the lead. While Scott Jennings absolutely has some great responses and burns in this one, the highlight from the clip is Shermichael Singleton. The typically even-tempered Shermichael Singleton goes off on the View's Ana Navarro for condescending to him, as well as multiple ignorant comments. I even think Scott Jennings is a little shocked. Anyway, let's watch Scott Jennings and Shermichael Singleton make short work of the woke panel, but really lay the smackdown on Ana Navarro. Let's go.
Immigrants who are being deported by Trump. Trump has gone too far. That's 52%. Scott.
Well, several things. Number one, the children that you mentioned were not deported. They went with their mothers. Their mothers requested that the children come with them. So their mothers were deported because they were illegal aliens.
They didn't get through the process.
And so
to go through
they went.
process.
So there's really two choices here: split the family or keep the family together. The U.S. government's policy here was to let the mothers decide. The mothers decided to take the children. That's number one. On the Garcia case, effectively what you all are arguing for, passionately, and what Democrats are passionately arguing for, is for the President of the United States to re-import a dangerous member of a transnational terrorist organization who has clear affiliations with a gang that commits heinous atrocities. That is not what he was elected to do. And whether you bring him back here or not, I'm just going to explain to you the politics of this through telling you what the Speaker of the House, Hakeem Jeffries, did today, which is that he told his members, please, for the love of God, stop going to El Salvador and dying on this hill. The politics of this could not be worse for the left and worse for Democrats because the president knows he was elected to protect us from MS-13, and that is what they are doing.
None of the things you just said have been proving. None of the things.
What do you say about the tattoos?
I say that what Trump said yesterday was an absolute lie.
It's not. They're not.
Wait,
they're not Photoshopped.
are you saying the MS-13 that Donald Trump claims are legitimate tattoos on this guy are true? Are you saying the Photoshop is true?
Are you a tattoo truther? I mean, I don't understand.
Wait, are you a Photoshop denier?
You're getting away from the issue.
Hold on. Yeah, we are getting away from the issue, Scott. The picture of his knuckles does not say MS-13.
The symbols.
Okay, yeah. Let me just explain to people
That
what
has
we're
not
talking
been
about
proven
here.
either, Scott.
None
of the things
DEA
you have
agents
said,
say it is.
they have not said so in
Let
court.
me just explain to people what we're talking about here. There are symbols on his knuckles. None of them say MS-13. However, this administration has decided that they symbolize something related to MS-13, which is disputed by a lot of people.
It's not disputed.
I am going to move on. I'm going to move on because this is not a conversation about the tattoos. One of the other things that happened this week is that a California judge said that you can't just scoop people up and deport them without a warrant. And in that case, basically the judge is saying, you know, you're basically taking anybody who's in a particular area. If they don't want to talk to you, you're taking them, detaining them, and assuming that they are deportable, and that you can't really do that anymore.
What the judge is saying is nothing radical. This is basically comports with existing law. It comports with decades of decisions around this matter, which in like pure layman's basic terms means that ICE agents cannot go after people, arrest them and detain them solely on the basis of being having brown skin and being working class. And what was so interesting about this case for me is that the Border Patrol did not contest any of the allegations.
They actually claimed that they changed their guidelines.
Their response was just that they were going to do better training. And this is right in line with the Mr. Abrego Garcia case. It's a question of due process. Whatever we feel about Mr. Abrego Garcia, it's honestly irrelevant. It's a question for the immigration judge.
On Mr. Garcia, we keep saying that there's no evidence that this guy belonged to a gang.
No evidence in court filings.
That's not true.
No, that is
That-
true.
that
is true.
Chair
It's
Michael,
not
that
true.
is true.
Can I
No. Hold
Why
on.
do we
Hold
always
on.
have to play this game of interrupting people
Okay,
when
but-
they're talking?
but you're
I mean, what is the
saying-
point of me being on the show if I can never finish my freaking point?
Okay,
I mean, this
sure,
is getting
okay.
really annoying, Abby.
Hold on.
Everyone else has
Hold-
made their
hold-
statements. I
hold
have
on a
yet to say
second.
anything.
Hold on a second, okay?
I mean, Jesus.
Hold on
Why
a
are you
second.
so angry?
Because I
As
want
Scott would
to
say.
say something, and I have a point of view to make
everybody
here as
just
well.
hang on just
I
one
mean,
second.
God.
Chair Michael, let me ask you a question. The question is, has the government presented evidence in court that Abrego Garcia is a member of MS-13?
And my
And the
response-
answer is no, that has not happened in court. But it doesn't mean that they have not made those claims publicly. It doesn't mean that those claims are not in police
in
reports.
2019,
It doesn't mean that they're not in police reports. They're just not statements that were made
in
in a court case.
2019, the immigration judge at the time believed the Prince George's County gang unit and the evidence that they presented before that judge at the time that Mr. Garcia did indeed belong to a gang. This is not my opinion. People can Google this crap. They can Google this. CBS reported on this. If a judge believed it in 2019, is it now all of a sudden not true?
The judge
Okay.
granted him a withholding of removal.
No, I acknowledge
Which
that
is-
fact.
which is a
I
different
acknowledge that
issue.
fact.
Hold on.
But the point remains that a judge found the evidence to be credible that Mr. Garcia did indeed belong to a gang. So now all of a sudden we're just not going to believe judges?
The judge
I mean, we can't have it both ways.
I don't.
How the hell are we not done with Abrego Garcia? The Democrats are doubling and tripling down on this. They're effing clueless. Since Democrats are too good for average Americans, all they rely on are BS CNN polls that say most Americans support bringing Abrego Garcia back. I can't believe that a single person, much less more than half the country, wants us to continue to waste time, money, and resources on this jackass. Who is asking for this? I always say, what do the Democrats think they'll get out of this? And the answer is right in front of my face. They get to continue to put up speed bumps to impede Donald Trump from doing his job. If you ask me, that's a very, very short-sighted plan and should burn them in the future. What do I know? Donald Trump ran on deporting all illegal immigrants, all of them. I genuinely love every human being, and I empathize with how difficult their lives may be. But if someone that's nonviolent gets caught up in a roundup of gang members, I do not care. They still broke the law. So no story that you're going to tell me, no matter how heartbreaking, will ever make me give two shits about what other crimes they've committed in the time since they entered our home illegally. Oh, by the way, Shermichael's not done yet. Let's get back to the video.
That's not true.
The Constitution is very clear. It does not say citizens. It says no person should be deprived of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness without due process. It doesn't matter what he's done in his past. The Boston
matter.
Wait a minute.
Oh, come
let me
on.
finish.
What
The
are costing me a break?
Boston bomber had due
Actually,
process.
yeah, that's a
Okay?
due process.
That's what
So-
this
so it
is about.
doesn't matter.
Wait. I gave you time. Let me
Yeah,
finish.
go ahead, go
Okay.
ahead.
This is a president who continues to twist the Constitution to adapt to whatever his vision is, to the point of the 2-year-old who was deported without due process, an American citizen. His father did not want him to go, and the only access he had to his daughter was listening to his daughter cry in the background in a 1-minute call. That 4-year-old did not get access to a doctor, despite the fact of having stage 4 cancer, did not have his medication with him when he was deported, an American citizen, to Honduras. This is what this president is doing. He is twisting the definition of the Constitution, and people like you are disparaging character to try to justify the disparaging.
I'm not
Due
disparaging.
process-
I'm not
due
disparaging
process
character.
does matter.
Did
You're
he
right
have
about
due
that.
process or not?
But the idea that Mr. Garcia's past doesn't matter is ludicrous.
To
But
the
we
due
live in
process
a
currently, absolutely
a
does.
sovereign nation,
matters
and this
for
idea that people can
immigration.
just come into our country
Guys,
and do
guys.
whatever
Hold
the
on,
heck
Scott,
they
I'll
want to
let
do
you-
is
I'll let you
absurd to me. And if
respond.
Democrats want to die on this hill, I promise you'll regret it politically. So go right ahead.
die on the hill of
Go
let me
right
let-
ahead.
for Americans.
Go
Dan,
right
let me
ahead.
let
We don't
Scott
want people
have
breaking
a
our laws
word.
coming into
Let-
our country.
let
That
me
is a
let-
fact.
Let me let Scott have a word, and then we'll move on.
It seems to me that the political analysis of this, though, is, and a lot of average people are looking at it this way. Why is it that we can let 20 million people into the country just walk across, whatever, and there's no real process for them to do that, but then we have to individually pick out every single person and go through years upon years upon years of paperwork and this and that and the other, and all we're trying to do is send them back to where they came from because they came here illegally in the first place. 20 million in with no process. How do you get 20 million out with years and years of people fighting every single case?
when we
You could
talk
cherry
about
pick
regular
any case you
people-
want. But the reality is the crisis that put Donald Trump in the White House was caused over years and years and years of neglect and letting people walk into here without any
but that's
process
not-
at
that's
all.
not
And
true.
now you're
Listen,
trying
a
to
lot
gum
of-
up the works to keep them
Okay,
here.
a lot of them came in. A lot of them came in with parole. A lot of them came.
CNN polling shows 54% of Americans want Mr.
November
Abrego
polling
Garcia
showed Donald
back.
Trump won the
That's
election,
CNN
so
polling.
I don't-
The
November
public is
polling-
shifting.
All
on
right.
this
We are
issue.
a sovereign
Guys.
nation, and you cannot just come into our
All
country
right.
illegally whenever the heck you want, because we can't do it to any other country on the face of this
Asylum
earth.
is a legal
If
right.
you come in
can't
illegally,
revoke due
you have to
processing.
leave.
You can't
Americans are
revoke due
tired of that. We do
processing.
not have unlimited
You know
resources.
who was here
We have to
illegally
care
with
for
a
our own people
deportation order?
first.
Marco Rubio's
Okay.
grandfather.
All right. Let's.
We're not talking about
let's-
Marco Rubio.
Oh, now
Anna.
we're not? Now that's not relevant?
It's not
No,
relevant.
I'm talking
It's not
about
relevant
Marco
to this
Rubio because Marco
conversation at
Rubio
all.
used to be an advocate for TPS for Venezuelans, and Marco Rubio used
Well,
to
I'm
be
not Marco
an
Rubio,
advocate
and
for
let me
Nicaraguans
tell you
and
my
Cubans.
beliefs.
No,
If
I
you
know
come
you're
into
not.
this country illegally, you are going home. Simple as
Okay.
that. We do not
Listen,
have unlimited
I
resources
think
in
a
this
lot of
country
Americans-
to take care of other
There's
people.
a hell
We
of a
have
lot
our
of
own
people
people
other than the
first,
black
Anna.
people who were brought here as slaves who came to this country illegally.
They
From
are
a
not
lot
the
of
same as
different-
black people who were brought here against
That's
our will.
exactly what I
They
just said.
decided
I
to
said
walk
there is
their
a
butts
lot of
across the
people
border.
other
There's a
than
big
the
difference.
black
There is
people.
a big difference.
Hold on.
Exactly
There
what
is
I
a
just
big
said.
difference.
That's
Share Michael,
exactly what I just
Share
said,
Michael
Sir Michael.
and
Look
Anna.
and act indignant. That's
Okay.
exactly what
It's
I
not
just
about
said.
acting
I-
indignant.
Yes, it is.
let me
You
just
heard me
share
say
Michael.
that's other than the black
Anna
people
and
who
share
came
Michael.
as slaves.
High
There
ground
are
here.
a lot of people from
Share
many,
Michael. I think
many
you
countries
actually
that came
misheard
here
what
illegally.
I think you misheard what she said.
No, he purposely misheard it.
She said.
I purposely
She,
Yes, he
misheard.
did.
So now you're in my
Share
brain?
Michael, listen to me for
Is
just
that,
a
is
second.
that where we're going?
You
Share
think
Michael,
I would
listen to me
say,
for a
I who
second.
have advocated
Anna,
for black
please
people my
stop.
entire life, would
Anna,
say something like that?
Anna,
Give me a
Because
damn
you've
break.
advocated for black
Anna,
people,
please
great.
stop.
Congratulations. Last time I checked, I'm black. You're not.
Okay, Share Michael.
That's right. I'm Latino, and my people are being racially
It is-
profiled.
it is-
and
And do I
unfairly
have to
treated.
remind you the history of my people?
Share
Do
Michael.
you want to
have to
go
re-
there?
no, I
Do you
don't.
really
Okay,
want to go
we're
there?
gonna
and
go to
know
break.
how
Know the history of
Raul,
your
we're gonna
people.
go to
You know
break.
why?
Raul
Because you
Reyes.
She's such a disgusting person. Ana Navarro was like, uh-oh, my ridiculous comment about slavery didn't go over very well. Let me make sure Sir Michael knows what a savior I am to the black American community. Hey, guess what, Anna? I'm not black, but I can confidently say that black Americans don't need your help. They don't need any of our help. And did you say your people are being racially profiled? Based on what? Because most Americans want to deport people that have broken the law? What monsters. If I were to be pulled over by a police officer for my tags being expired, there will be consequences, fines, vehicle impoundment, and the police are within their rights to jail me. If that were to happen, it is what it is, right? I broke the law, and it's my job to accept the ramifications of my actions. I think it's fair to say that their crime is much more serious than anyone's procrastination or disorganization. Biden's administration effed us so badly. They let millions of people in our country illegally, allowed them to claim asylum, which makes those folks significantly more difficult to deport. So with illegal immigrants, it's very easy to break the law, but facing consequences seems nearly impossible for most of them. What more evidence do people need to understand that this is intentional by the Democrats? Because not only did they let them in, they're fighting tooth and nail to keep them here. I'll tell you what, if it were up to me, we need to lock down the border and throw away the key for the next 10 years, maybe more. I don't want to end up like the UK. We are so close to having zero identity as a country. So when that erodes completely, can you really even call the United States a country anymore? But what did you guys think about the panel's discussion about Abrego Garcia and illegal immigration? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, that's it for this video. If you like watching Scott Jennings own liberals, then click on one of the videos that's about to pop up on your screen. Otherwise, as always, I've got the best viewers on the planet. I'm so grateful you took a couple minutes out of your day to watch my video. It means a ton to me. Never forget, Jesus loves you, and I'll see you guys.